All right, guys, I'm going to go over a few things after doing dozens and dozens of mock drafts. What are the problems I'm running into? What am I seeing when it comes to fantasy football? What's my overall strategy when I go into a league that's got a $200 buy-in, a $500 buy-in, something like that? What am I looking for when I am drafting competitively in the coming weeks? Let's get down to a few things. Number one, it's drafting running backs early, and guys, it's extreme. Everyone always says it. We want to get the RB1, the RB2. The running back is the most important position in fantasy football. Whether you're playing half-point PPR, full-point PPR, it doesn't matter. There is so little depth there. But this year, it's so extreme. I've gone on record, and I'm telling people, if you can get a running back round one, you need to do it. And it goes farther than that. I'm talking 2 running backs in the first 3 rounds, 3 running backs in the first 4 rounds. Build up legitimate depth in a 10-team league, in a 12-team league, in a 14-team league, so your flex is an RB1. That is my strategy. It's not only because the RB1s are extremely limited this year. It's also due to the overall depth at wide receiver. And that's my number 2 key. But looking at this is just an example of like a 12-team league taking Najee Harris or Dalvin Cook. The thing with Dalvin Cook that I love, as long as you get Alexander Mattison, the injury concern is completely resolved, because we know Cook has a lot of wear and tear on his body, but Alexander Mattison is literally the perfect handcuff. He turns into an RB1. Anytime Alexander Mattison gets a start, he produces like an RB1. So as long as you get Dalvin Cook's handcuff, drafting him is fine at like number 8 overall, number 9 overall, number 7 overall. Make sure you get a running back if you can in round 1. And you can see round 2, someone like Joe Mixon, DeAndre Swift, Cam Akers is someone I love. I know a lot of people are scared about Cam Akers coming off that severe injury. Guys, he did play in the playoffs last year. I know he wasn't good, but this is a guy who's fully recovered at this point from his injury, and I think he'll get 65-70% of the touches in that Rams backfield over Darrell Henderson. And that's a team that's going to score a lot. They're going to be in the red zone a lot. Cam Akers, if you're in a full-point PPR, which I assume many people are, he's a guy that's going to get a ton of passes. He's a great pass catcher out of the backfield, so drafting him, I would be fine with. And then round 3, someone like DJ Moore. I am totally fine with going into my season, if I'm in a 12-team league, with DJ Moore as my number 1 receiver. Totally fine. People don't remember this. DJ Moore early last year was on pace to have a top 5, top 6 fantasy season as a receiver. The only issue is Sam Darnold turned into the worst quarterback in the league, and now people are overlooking him. But DJ Moore, plus he only had 4 touchdowns. DJ Moore is due for positive touchdown regression. 4 touchdowns, 1,100 yards. It doesn't make sense. That's why I think I will never, ever draft James Conner, guys. That's the thing. James Conner is going to be a bust. Don't draft him. He's due for some horrible touchdown regression. But DJ Moore or Michael Pittman's going to have a really solid year. I think he's going to be a consistent guy that gives you 16 to 17 PPR points. There might not be a blow-up 35-point week, but he's going to have a very high floor. He's going to be a guy that gets a minimum of 8-9 quality targets from Matt Ryan. They've got a good offensive line. They've got a good running game. He's a big body. Give him at least 8 or 9 touchdowns in the red zone. Michael Pittman Jr. is certainly a guy that is going to be very good. He's going in round 3 right now of many of these 12-team leagues. And then round 4, Breece Hall, I am totally fine with drafting a rookie. No issues. That's just kind of the round 4 running back that I like. And that gives you, if you have Najee Harris, Cam Akers, and Breece Hall, you've got 3 RB1s right there. Some people may be a little concerned with Cam Akers, but overall, you want to build that running back depth. It's not just about taking a running back in the first round. It's about taking running backs 3 in the first 4 rounds, 2 in the first 3 rounds. You need to build legitimate RB1 running back depth because there's so few of them, and there are situations. If you get Javonte Williams, you do want to get Melvin Gordon. If you get Dalvin Cook, you do want to get Alexander Mattison. You got to do your homework on the handcuffs, on some of these guys' handcuffs, to make sure if an injury happens, you're ready for it. My number 2 overall strategy, it's utilizing the depth of the wide receivers to your advantage and taking a look at if my strategy is put into place, if we are drafting running backs, maybe 3 running backs in the first 4 rounds or, 3 running backs in the first 5 rounds, we need those mid-round wide receivers to really help us. And the number 1 guy on my list, I've been drafting him in every single draft. I guess it does make sense, but it's crazy. Jerry Jeudy is available in round 5, round 6 in 10-team leagues. It is unbelievable. Jerry Jeudy was an absolute star at Alabama. Year 1 in the NFL, he is a horrible quarterback as a rookie. Last year, he dealt with an injury and didn't score a touchdown. This year, he's healthy. This year, he has Russell Wilson. It is an absolute upgrade. I know some people are worried about Cortland Sutton, but I think Jerry Jeudy is the number 1 wide receiver there. He steps up and puts up an amazing fantasy season. So he's a guy I'm getting in basically every one of my drafts. You can see the stars aligning. He's extremely talented. He's healthy. He finally has a quarterback. Michael Thomas, listen guys, at some point Michael Thomas has got to be healthy. And I'm just banking on this year being the year. And you also look at Jameis Winston. He can 100% facilitate a good fantasy season. I know some people might be concerned about the target share. You've got Kamara coming out of the backfield, taking some targets. You also have the rookie Chris Olave as well as Jarvis Landry now there. I think his target share will be hit a little bit, but I personally don't think Jarvis Landry is going to do much of anything on the Saints. I would recommend avoid drafting him really at any pick. And then Olave, I like Olave a lot, but he is still a rookie. So Michael Thomas, as long as he's healthy, if you get him in the 6th or 7th round, that should be good value. We know he's just a PPR machine, or he at least was with Drew Brees. Amon-Ra St. Brown. Unbelievable last 6 weeks of the regular season. He's going to get peppered with targets. The only other options are really TJ Hawkinson and DJ Chark there. Jameson Williams will be back, but probably not until mid-season with his injury. So Amon-Ra St. Brown, especially early in the season, is going to be their wide receiver number 1. The Lions are going to be down in a lot of games. Jared Goff, while he's not great, he can still, sustain solid fantasy production for receivers. We saw it last year with Amon-Ra St. Brown towards the end of his rookie season. He's going to get great volume and is great value if you're drafting him right around late round 5, early round 6 of those 12-team leagues. And then Brandon Ayuk is someone I love. And let me quickly say, I don't have it down. Please draft Trey Lance. That should not even be don't worry about Patrick Mahomes in the 6th round. Don't worry about Josh Allen in the 4th round. Don't worry about Justin Herbert in the 6th round. Just draft Trey Lance. He's been going in round 9 of many of these 12-team mocks. Just get him. Make it easy on yourself. Invest those early picks into positions of need, like a tight end, like an elite tight end, like those running backs, like mid-round receivers. Save the QB for a round 8 or round 9 deal. And that's really what I would do with Trey Lance, because Trey Lance, even if Trey Lance has growing pains, his floor is so high due to his rushing ability. Very similar to the situation Jalen Hurts had last year, where Jalen Hurts wasn't the best, real life quarterback, but he was still an unbelievable fantasy quarterback because of the floor he had due to his rushing ability. Trey Lance is getting 7 or 8 rushing touchdowns. He's going to average 50 rushing yards a game. They've got an amazing offense. They've got the best left tackle in the NFL. You've got Deebo Samuel. You've got Brandon Ayuk. You've got George Kittle. It is a perfect situation for Trey Lance to thrive, and that's why I also like Brandon Ayuk. I understand Deebo Samuel is there, but I've been seeing Brandon Ayuk in round 8 or 9 of 12-team leagues. You're trying to build wide receiver depth. He's a great guy to target. And then number 3, how about this? Draft rookies. Do not be afraid. I've seen it happens every year. Because they're rookies, they get undervalued. Now, we'll see with the Drake London injury how serious it is. He suffered it in preseason week 1, but I don't think it's that serious. And just all those other guys I love. Garrett Wilson, Zach Wilson should be fine. Garrett Wilson is just a superstar. The other guys like Tyler Algier is my number 1 overall sleeper. I think he's going to be the Falcons' starting running back by week 10. And another guy not on this list, Kenneth Walker. Please, if you can get Kenneth Walker, he could be an RB1 by week 9 or week 10. He's been going in round 9 of many of these 12-team drafts. And then finally, take a chance on George Kittle. So just, due to coincidence, I've been doing a lot of these mock drafts, and George Kittle is there in round 6, in round 7. I know he's injury prone maybe a little bit, but I would take a chance on an elite tight end. Great value if you're getting him in round 6. I just say take a chance on George Kittle being your tight end. I mean, if you go running back round 1, running back round 2, wide receiver round 3, running back round 4, wide receiver round 5, George Kittle round 6, probably, I would say Tony Pollard round 7. I love Tony Pollard. Trey Lance round 8. That's something I would do. That's really it's running back, receiver, running back, receiver, George Kittle, Tony Pollard, Trey Lance. Think about that. So that's like the structure of it. It's running back heavy early. You go wide receiver middle round with a sprinkle of George Kittle. Then you go on the back end, you shore it up with Tony Pollard, who I think is going to break out. Tony Pollard, and then maybe like a Kenneth Walker type. And then you get Trey Lance. I'd say, listen, if I have to draft Trey Lance in round 7 or he'll be there at round 8. I don't think the hype has gotten that serious for him. If you're in a 12-team league, I think he should certainly be there round 8, round 9. But I'm drafting Trey Lance over Tom Brady. I'm drafting Trey Lance over Aaron Rodgers. That's not even a question. It's the rushing ability, especially in fantasy. I'm not saying Trey Lance is better than Aaron Rodgers. When it comes to real life, he's not. In fantasy, he's going to be. He's going to have a better season. That's just my opinion. So those are like my overall, words of advice for these drafts. Obviously, this advice is for full point PPR leagues, guys. Full point PPR. That is kind of the standard nowadays, and that is the overall structure that I normally always play in. Maybe a half point PPR here and there, but just some things I would take under consideration when we're all doing our drafts. So, guys, that is going to do it for this video. Make sure you're following me on Twitter. Link to that's always in the description. I'm, of course, the Depressed Ginger. Thank you for watching.